Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Total War Rome 2 here today on the channel. We have episode 2 of my Emperor Edition sub-modded series as the Roman Republic. To start things off in 260 BC, we have the battle for Rome. We have the defensive siege for Rome. The slave rebellion has risen up against us, and we've got Spartacus at the gates of Rome to deal with. So, if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like and subscribe if you're new. I'd really much appreciate it. We're using my sub-mod, which has got the unit card mod, a bunch of graphical retextures, and we're also using a really nice reshade mod as well. So to kick things off, we have the defense of Rome. Hopefully we can defend it. So this is going to be a really quite difficult one. I don't have too much hope. On the order resolve, it was about 95% in the enemy combatants' favour, while on the battlefield itself, it has swung slightly to give us potentially a 20, a 30, not much whatsoever. So in the last episode, if you haven't gone and watched it, highly recommend you do. But just to quickly recap, we have destroyed the Etruscans and their settlements that they held on the mainland of Italy. We've sent them to the island of Sardinia. Carthage holds Corsica, so we still have to deal with them. We negotiated with the Dalmate of the Illyrian tribe to basically use their war as a casus belli to declare war upon the Veneti and take Patavium, which we've done. We've sent Legion 1 and 2 to rendezvous near Arretium and Arinium to actually deal with the Etruscans. So that's why the armies are away. And we've got a captain of the guard here. Brave Horatius, I guess we'll call him. And here is some of the detail of the units as well. But we're mostly playing on Emperor Edition. But here come the slaves from the slave revolt to march against Rome. Now, thankfully, even if they do succeed here today, they're not a major faction, so they're not going to occupy the city. Trying to retake and siege Rome will be difficult for us. So the worst that's going to happen is potentially a raise, which would really hurt the settlement and its growth. But it's not as harsh as in Attila or some of the earlier Total Wars. But a loot would just be more annoying than anything. I wanted to try and get the slave revolt booming and trade going, because that's how you can get a lot of money in Rome 2. Especially after the end of battles. Enslaving rather than getting rid of them. But we've gone and been a little bit unlucky here, as we haven't had an army nearby. Rome isn't upgraded either. I opted to go with more agricultural and mine buildings. So, thankfully for me, it does seem like the enemy army is attacking in one focused position here on this gate. And they're starting to ascend. So, there's a couple ways we could play this. Just trying to throw everyone up and play for time. 50 minutes is quite a bit, but we could go for that. I just don't know in a straight out of offensive, like slugging it out, we're just not going to win. We're outnumbered too much. Not only is it a full stack, outnumbering us more than 2 to 1, they actually spawn with chevrons due to the difficulty. So it's even further multiplied by that. We've got arrow towers in support. They're the ones that are going to really try and carry this fight, but they seem to be pushing here on this entire face. Right outside the Circus Maximus, hopefully we can pick up the W. If not, we're going to have to send an army in response. But it's a little bit of happenstance and unluckiness for this full stack to spawn bang in front of Rome and attack it within one turn. Because in these newer Total Wars in Rome 2, you don't need to build siege equipment. They automatically have 2 at their disposal. So, Spartacus and his servile rebellion is well on the way. But it wouldn't be a Roman campaign if Rome wasn't sacked or attacked here and there, but hopefully we can defend the Eternal City and the 8 Hills of Rome. Hopefully we can be successful, but already it does seem that there are some units wavering. But of course, as always, feel free to let me know in the comments feedback and suggestions, tips and tricks. It's been a while since I played the Emperor edition of the game, but it's good to be back in business. I had an absolute blast in that first episode, and you guys seem to enjoy it as well. So I just want to thank each of you for all the fantastic support. Let's keep it going. And yeah, where you like me to expand and conquer? Because we've had some interesting developments. We haven't been necessarily drawn anywhere just yet. I do want to try and take Cisalpine Gaul. We've got really good relations with Athens. It just depends what happens in Greece. Who wins? Because we're allying ourselves. Already there seems to be a bit of an alliance block happening. We've got the Athenians and the Spartans allying up with each other. I've opted to go with the Athenians because they liked us the most by default. Because I want to try and get trade with them. So it looks like we're going to ally with the Spartan block, while the Macedonians and Epirus are allied, which is interesting. Obviously, we do have a historic grudge with Pyrrhus of Epirus and his various wars down near Brundisium and battles. So we sort of have a natural enemy there. But depending who wins in Greece in that battle royale, will it be the Macedonian Epirus coalition? If they fully take Hellas, that could be a justification for us to go on in. However, if the Spartan and Athenian alliance wins, we might not go into Greece for quite some time. We are playing as the Julii, so we do have an advantageous ability to go against barbarians more than any other faction, because we've also got increased cultural influence as our faction and increased negative public order when our influence is in it. Yeah, let me know in the comments, when you play Rome 2, what house do you go with? Do you go with the Julii as the Red Romans? They're a really good choice, especially against fighting barbarian factions early on in the campaign. Like, you get some crazy buffs against them. And you do tend to always try and take Cisalpine Gaul. Before you even sprawl out as the Roman Empire, you do tend to try and secure the home province before you look exteriorly to try and incorporate other Roman provinces in. So yeah, should we go to Gaul? Should we go to Spain? We've got to keep an eye on the Carthaginians as well. And the same with Greece. The Carthaginians did cancel their non-aggression pact with us. However, the fate and future and control of Sicily is still very much under debate. We're just trying to hold them here. We're just trading a little bit back and forth. Nearly probably just playing for time. We're just trying to take as many of them out as we can. I don't know if this battle is too hopeful, as they're starting to push us off the initial walls. Some of our levy skirmishers are trying to get a decent angle here, looking to arc their shots up onto the walls. Hitting them on the sides there is bloody brilliant, but I just don't know if we're going to have the missiles and skirmishes available to us. But yeah, once again, let me know, Julia, Junia, or Cornelia. Because Cornelia is interesting because you do get a negative public order hit, however, which is bad, but you do get pretty decent relations with Hellenic factions. So if you're sort of the person like, I don't want to ever go to war with the Greeks, I want to form the Western Roman Empire and get a nice tax buff, I could say that. But the negative penalty is pretty bad. Junia, so that's the Cornelia / Scipio essentially faction. Then we got Junia, which is / Brutus, and the Brutii. So they have a diplomatic penalty with all factions. They do get a public order bonus and agriculture wealth bonus. It just depends what difficulty you play on. I think for like if you're playing on hard, very hard, like we are, playing as the Julii is the best. And maybe if you're playing as one of the lower difficulties where public order doesn't really matter, maybe playing as the Junior. If you play on normal or easy, which is fine, maybe playing as the Brutii might be that your kind of style. Yeah. I'm curious to know. Let me know in the comments who you choose. Alright, we've been nearly dissolved here on the walls, which is not good. We've lost control of the gateway as well, as the banner is contested. So that means we're not going to be able to get Arrow Tower support to help us. But the more we can take out, the better. Even if we do lose this fight. as we'll just make it that little bit easier for Lucius Julius and Cornelius Scipio as well. Legion 1 and 2 to wrap up and destroy these rebels. But we will have to deal with the consequences of this rebellion for a couple turns. Alright, so it looks like the rebels have made their way off the walls here now and are down beneath the gateway. We've managed to chip off 10-15 minutes or so, so it's not too bad. I just don't know if our units are going to last the full 40, or they're just going to be crushed and capitulated in the end. Because we technically don't have a general in here either. That might have changed things. Instead of just using the tier 1 Roman garrison. So in hindsight now looking, we made a minor misplay. It's not going to like ruin the campaign. But overall, I should have prioritized in some aspects upgrading Rome itself. I'm actually blown away that it got attacked. I know I'm trying to go with the rebellion and slave trader economy boon and try and get the money from that, but yeah, I'm surprised they went so headstrong into Rome. I like it. They didn't go for Arretium or Arinium or Neapolis. They went straight for the head of the snake, trying to cut it off, which is Rome, the eternal city itself. Okay, so let's try and reform up here. We've got our general unit. It is a Principe, so the Principe unit should be able to last and stay in combat a little bit more. But unfortunately, the levies have weltered away. Well, it's up to the Principe general unit, which is just a randomly generated general, and the Hastati units as well. We are, however, winding down the clock, which is good. But I'm curious to see the result after this. How many we've gone in taken out. Maybe setting things on guard mode might buy for time. It won't get the kills and the tick rate up higher. So we will win if the time runs out. Just looking at how many we're losing, I don't know if it's enough. But you can see how well the Principe are doing. Oh, and they've just been wiped. As I say that. A close defeat, supposedly. So we're outnumbered there. A little bit under 2 to 1. Yeah, look at that. The Principe unit got 200 kills, followed by a couple of Hastati here and there. So unfortunately, we've lost to this rebellion. Yeah, silver chevrons. That's a little bit harsh, if I do say so myself. Like, it's already a full stack of rebels. And just to add chevrons on top of that. Yeah. Unfortunately, Rome was attacked and they destroyed the garrison inside. So what are the rebel scum going to do here now? Okay. So it looks like they've just sacked Rome itself. Lands open to the enemy. Okay, so it's understanding. The people in the Senate weren't happy. We will need to repair it, and they've pushed up to Arinium. But we have taken a bit of a chunk out of them. Alright, so let's change things up. Let's move those Principe back in. Now, I think Legion 1 will give the smaller army. Legion 2 can have the best, and it can still continue on its approach to dealing with Epirus. Because the last thing we want is to have them come swinging on in after Rome is in such a weak and fragile position with no army. Oh, and it looks like the Epirus navy has actually moved out. The army's actually moved out here on a force march. Look, during the end turn, because that's when the rebels attacked us. Well, look, you know what? That's an army on a force march in the sea. I think we'll fight this one. We're currently 95% not favoured to win, which is understandable. However, because we've got 2 units of ballista and an onager, I believe we can probably take out a decent chunk of them. Look, it would be a long shot to pull off the dub and the win in the victory, particularly if the balance of power is so much in their favour. But we might be able to take out a decent chunk here, even if we lose the entire navy. It's not going to be bad. Okay. So, what's the range on these bad boys? Because it's been a while since I played a naval battle. The ballista have them also. I think the ballista are better than the onagers. So, we'll try and move them up because their range is slightly lacking. And what I'll do is I'll press insert on my keyboard and we'll manually try and get some shots off because it is quicker and more accurate. Okay, let's start the battle. Right, let's move the smaller ships, which just have some levies on top. But the Etruscan army left their island home and they were full head-on swinging to Neapolis, which is kind of crazy. Okay, so let's try and get some shots off here. I don't know how many shots it is to destroy a ship, particularly if we're missing like that. We want to try and make them get into shootable and killable range. But the sea is whipping up an absolute nightmare there. Look at that, look at all the white water on top of the sea. So we'll send these 3 units up to essentially act as a sacrifice. But the more ships we can take out, the better. The less we have to deal with potentially on Rome itself or when we attack the island. Interesting that, like, within the same couple of turns, they were ready to attack us and we were ready to attack them. But that seems to be a good strike against the Epirus Navy. Epirus? I meant Etruscan. Okay, so is that a bit better? Maybe this one's better. There we go, that's coming in. Just going to clip you further at the back. Maybe aim like slightly lower towards the hull. Oh, there we go. One of those has been taken out. Bit better. There we go. So it's only 2 or 3 on a couple, depending on the size of the ship, like a hull hit. Oh, we're really starting to take them out now. Now that they're getting into range. Hit again. There we go. Now this is only light ballista as well. This isn't giant. Now, I know in DEI they slightly debuffed this. It's still incredibly useful to go into first person and do it yourself. It's a lot of fun. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. As we're going to sacrifice a couple units here, but if we can keep this up, we might be able to completely destroy the Etruscan. They're getting way too close here. Quickly get the shots off. The Etruscan navy that they spent building up, well, it's the army on. These are only transport ships, to be fair, so you wouldn't imagine that they would last long whatsoever. Oh my god, yeah, so it's 3 shots. Quickly reload, get them off. Because I remember in my Imperator Augustus Octavian campaign, which is kind of realistic, as they had a huge naval battle between those two, Mark Antony and Octavian, that the giant ballista ships in that campaign, because you're more further along in the time just before the late Roman Republic, let's say the early, or it's literally the late Roman Republic teetering on the Empire. They had more access to built up ship and naval dockyards in that campaign, so therefore you get more giant ballistas. But we are absolutely shredding and rip-roaring through The Etruscan... Oh my god, I'm so happy how impressed we're doing. I'm ecstatic. Oh my god. I knew... In the last episode I mentioned how vital and valuable the naval dockyard was in Brundisium, as we were going to be able to get essentially ballista early on in the campaign. And we're going to be able to use them as ballista on coastal sieges if we can get them within range. Because it takes a little bit of time and investment to actually get a proper siege works going. And to get those giant onagers and stuff. But nearly in the start of the campaign, if you attack a coastal settlement, let's say, and they haven't got much of a navy defending, you can swing that in and get them to rain fire, hell, and terror upon the enemy. We still might not win this one, per se, but we've done enough that our army should be able to take the Etruscan island with ease, because we've basically stopped an incursion intercepting their transport ships in the Mediterranean. Okay, just wanted to get a little bit of distance there. But they over and outnumbered us. But thanks to a couple of smart and incredibly adaptable Roman captains and sailors, we've managed to sink their transports. That's as well. I don't know how well the giant ballista would, or the light ballista would do, not against like actual ships. Like these are transport ships. They're only really used for ferrying ships. They're not built for open combat, because an actual navy has intercepted them. Oh, lucky we caught them. Crikey, that could have been really bad. And we've somehow claimed victory. I'm going to continue just to show you this as the Etruscan troop transport is flowing to the bottom of the sea to a watery grave, thanks to the Roman navy intercepting them, not allowing them to get anywhere near Italian lands. Oh my god, I feel bad for the Etruscans. They spent so many turns constructing and recruiting transports and recruiting 3,000 Italian spearmen that have just been absolutely destroyed on open water. They got a couple hundred kills, but because we sunk them, it's destroyed the full unit completely. Maybe one technically survived there. Oh wow. What a crazy first 20 minutes of this episode. Back to back. Just defensive Rome failed, but we've managed to pull out with a victory. Unfortunately, we did lose some of the levies and one of the ballista units. I guess we'll continue to enslave again, because we want to try and build up that economy. And now we can auto-resolve this one. So we should be able to push and finish off the last of the Etruscans if we're lucky. Awesome. That's fantastic. And we'll try and move into range of Alalia, rather. I'm going to secure the promotion with Lucius Julius Libo's wife. Maybe even furthermore as well. We'll send her on a diplomatic mission to maybe Athens again. It worked really quite well, her parting with the Athenian aristocrats and philosophers. Okay, so we'll move you back to Neapolis just to replenish and repair. So that army's moved to Arrhenium. Legion 1 here with Scipio. We're going to need reinforcements. I want to get an upgraded glass worker in Patavium, because hopefully we can get some more trade with that. At the moment, we're only exporting olives out of the peninsula. The more trade you have, the more tradable items and access to them and number, the more you can get trade with other factions. It just becomes that bit easier if you're the main exporter for stuff, as some buildings are tied to resources. Unfortunately, Arrhenium has been sacked as well, so we're going to have to deal with that. They're on a bit of a tirade here at the moment. Okay, back against Epirus. I guess we go with an amphibious attack, but I think we'll just try and get on the island itself. Like, if we swing Brutus here... Okay, so can I get that just a bit closer? It says you run out of movement, but if we can just, like... If I can force march you... There we go, that'll do. Oh, cool. Well, we'll fight this one. There's not even that large of a garrison inside. The army should be able to mop it up, even on a force march if they're slightly winded. Because that's the only problem. In and on a force march. Is just being winded and having the units slightly tired. There doesn't even to be too much of a navy there. Either. So let's play this one, the Battle of Alalia in 264 BC. Okay, let's get stuck into the Siege of Alalia. Let's take Corsica and bring it under Roman control and occupation. So, because we attacked with the navy, we have to deal with them first. So let's move them into range of the settlement. We might have to destroy the navy firstly, but if we can get to a point where the navy is destroyed, we're going to be able to use the Roman navy and their ballista to fire on into the settlement, which would be bloody brilliant if we can pull it off. Actually, while our reinforcements come on in, we might even be able to sneak a shot in a sec, but here is the Roman legion after landing on Corsica, after hearing the news of Brutus the Brilliant destroying the Etruscan army. They've softened it up and made it easier for the legionary boys. I'm sure they're happy. Oh, that's not a bad strike, though. That's the general unit. Keep it up. We might be able to get some more rapid shots off. It's a shame that they deployed so close there. Oh, a fireball's going to slightly miss on there. Slightly offline. Okay, so let's move everyone in. They do have some noble infantry moving here, but that shouldn't be too difficult to... well, deal with, and let's just try and get everyone in there as quick as possible. Vilites, I'm going to give an attack order to try and hit that unit. And I might even send my cavalry in general there. Okay, so the ships are getting a little bit closer. So let's try and take some pot shots. That's a miss. I forget that you can, like, click off it as well. You don't have to see the impact, but it is sometimes useful to see it. Oh, I'm whiffing my shots here a bit. It's coming back. So I think you're actually better off aiming lower and for the hull instead of the actual units as well. Because a couple of direct hull hits crushes it. There we go. There's 3 gone. Obviously, when you're manually using it, just press insert on your keyboard. It's right above near enter. Or just Google a keyboard if you don't know where it is. Because it is worth it, because they're coming in thick and fast. But it just increases the shot rate. I don't know if I'm going to get the angle up here. Oh, that one's still hanging about. Same with this one. Let's shoot it back again. There we go. Oh my god, what a huge explosion. And we've sent them down to the bottom of the sea. Come on. Only a couple more shots. And then we've destroyed what remains of the small Corsica garrisoning navy. And we've managed to sink them perfectly. Only with 1 unit there as well. So even against a proper navy... well, I guess maybe I'm being a little bit harsh. We haven't actually dealt against a full-on proper navy, like a full-stack recruited Egyptian force, let's say. Okay, we've somehow managed to wrap our Vilites around this unit here, and we're just trying to skirmish and soften them up. These Vilites look really quite cool. I love the wolf pelt on the top. Looks nice. And the Hastati boys, after being whipped into a frenzy, disembarking on Corsica, are slowly but surely making their way towards the city. Okay. So, clustering up here isn't entirely optimal with the Vilites. So, we'll try and surround this unit as best we can. and then get some shots off. I might even try and move my cavalry into a position where we can swing and get some hammer strikes off. I would say hammer and anvil, but we've got no one really holding them there yet. I guess once the cavalry go in, they can act as the anvil, swinging in like the hammer, and then we'll get the Vilites to hammer some peltasts on into them. Turn them into some pin cushions. How's that sound, lads? Alright, back over here. Unfortunately, we're running out of range. Yeah, they've moved away. If they were defending, if there was a lot of them defending in the settlement, it would have been an absolute field day for those Roman ballista able to shoot. So I would highly recommend playing as Rome. Get those, invest some money into getting the ballistas. They're quite expensive. They cost like what, 600 gold, or technically denarii, let's say, and then they cost about 400 each. So it's nearly worth, one ballista ship is worth nearly 4 on the wage of Hastati. So it's quite an investment, but you do essentially get artillery within the first initial turns. Now, you don't want to spend too much, because not every single settlement you will face in Rome 2 will be a coastal city with the potential of bringing the naval in. There will be some landlocked settlements, but particularly fighting in and around the Mediterranean, and particularly defending this vast open sea. Like, if we, ideally, in a perfect world, if we can get at least 1, 2 full navies of those ballista, we're going to be able to defend anything that threatens to go into our waters, particularly with transport ships. If the enemies of the world, of the Romans, want to invade our sphere of influence, they're going to have to bring a lot of ships to do so. Okay, so it looks like they're actually trying to stop me here from coming in. So we've melted away the army that the Vilites were attacking. We'll send some units into the town square, and we'll try and wrap things around as well. But fierce fighting is breaking out, and the Hastati are fighting tooth and nail for the future and dream of a Roman Empire. We're doing quite well. There we go. And we're going to be able to get rid of the Etruscans, a grudge we've had against them and their Latin allies since the early days, where they weren't happy with us setting up a settlement. I'm sure Aeneas will be proud. A decisive victory there, only losing 100, and we destroyed their small ships as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I can't imagine where the Etruscans would have any more settlements or armies. That's probably it. They're done and dusted. Thanks to the brilliant, I say, efforts of Brutus on the open seas, sinking the Etruscan army and their transports. And then we've got Lucius here, wrapping up the siege of Alalia. Decisive victory. Perfect. I guess we loot it. So Sardinia is a part of this territory as well, and they have Corellas. And the Etruscan League is no more. Roma and Victor, fellas. Hell yeah. So, unfortunately yeah, so it's mostly Carthaginian. We're going to have to probably change that to Latin culture eventually. Lucius Julius Libo. I do want to try and get authority so I can adopt people, but also just trying to get up his gravitas, and it's a balance of army bonuses plus movement and stuff. Yeah, getting more gravitas and zeal per turn isn't too bad, but we will need to go with more authority at some point as well. And they're still raiding, which you're going to have to keep an eye out on. Okay. 264 BC, summer. Brutus has some stats we have to deal with as well. That was after well, essentially 2 naval battles that he had. Okay, well, I guess we'll leave Alalia for now. A little bit of an exposed settlement. I don't know if I really want it too much just yet. I'd rather focus on the peninsula. So, we might leave it a little bit undefended. If the Carthaginians attack it, we will retaliate, but apart from that, it might be open to the elements a bit. Okay, well, we kind of need to attack this army within this turn to get rid of it, because them raiding Irinium, sacking Rome is annoying, but actually sitting there and constantly raiding is really bad. So we'll get some mercenaries in. I don't know if we're going to have enough. We might as well just... should we go with some Hastati and Principe? Maybe get them to attack us. But we might need to push them. I'm a little bit undecided. Athens. Can we get that trade done? Okay, so that's going to help us a little bit in our financial predicament. Yeah, so they've got a defensive alliance with Sparta, which is super interesting. I wonder if I can get some money out of them as well. Okay. Because the Epirus and Macedonian coalition seems to be winning for now, as they've taken Larissa. There's probably no one else we can negotiate with. I could send you to... thinking Syracuse, Carthage. Look, maybe not, maybe not. We'll leave it for another time. Alright, let's end the turn and continue. Oh, another slave rolled. Slaves escaped, alright. Yeah, it's because we still need to build those buildings. Oh, okay. Some interesting developments there in Greece. Wonder what's going to happen in the end over there. Okay, can we get any more? We can get one more cavalry unit. So, we're hemorrhaging a bit of cash due to a couple factors. We're spending a lot on mercenaries, firstly. And then Irinium's been sacked and looted slightly. So, we'll play this one here now. Legion 1 with Scipio has been sent to deal with the scraps and remnants of that servile force, let's say, that attacked Rome. Hopefully their reign of terror will end. They've taken a really nice high ground position, probably just looking at the terrain. Typical gladiators, I guess, of Spartacus. Oh. Some people hate that TV show. I don't mind it. It's campy. I don't mind it. Maybe if I watched it now, but when it came out, I don't even know when. It was like 14, 15. It was a fun show. Alright. Let's move on up here. So, we've got a little bit of a mix match with our army build now. Not just your born and bred, your blue chip, your blue collar Hastati boys. Now we've got some mercenaries. Italian cavalry, which were fighting allied and on side with the Etruscans not too long ago. But they're going to be integrated and married on in to Rome. Because this is what happened in the early days. Rome. Actually, I'll just talk about the gladiators before I go on about Rome. But we've got some gladiators here. Gladiatesses, I guess if they're female. Alright. I think they've got some really nice stats. They don't look the best, but we're definitely going to need them in this fight. Not the most realistic unit. I might have to disband them, to be honest. It's kind of weird seeing, like, gladiators all decked out in a bunch of units like that. But the slaves are taking an interesting position, the rebellion. But yeah, Rome itself, when it was set up, they needed wives and, well, they eventually got them, but it was filled with despots, pirates, and then debtors before they married on in with Latium and the other surrounding families around the river Tiber. Alright, let's move on up into a better position. Quite an interesting battle map that we're going to get funneled on into. A bit of a cliff face on the left. We might be able to use that out to our advantage and swing around up. There's some nice tree coverage there that I like the look of. So let's just speed things up. I don't want to run. You're better off to speed things up and march just to save your units health, fatigue, and stamina.
We have discovered the enemy's hidden units.
Still want to try and fly and further advance in our triple axis formation, but I might just try and take the Vilites out, like... How do we... Yeah, something like that. That's what I want. We might even remove the cavalry out of it as well, because I want them to swing around the left more so. Some skirmisher fire is trading on out. But hopefully this is the last rebellion. Although, it's caused a little bit of a headache. We haven't been too hard done by, to be honest. We might use that as a bit of a bait here now, just charge against that skirmisher unit. I was trying to swing it around constantly, but it wouldn't go. Because we are now farming some valuable experience and chevrons for our infantry. It's not like we've been on a war of multiple fronts. We've always had an army in and around ready to respond. But hopefully this is the first and last servile war we have to deal with. But not yet. We might just start needing to deal with our captives another way, I guess. But the first Astarte unit is getting attacked. We've got some cavalry here that can swing on in. Yeah, look at that cool funneling position. It looks really aesthetically pleasing with the cavalry funneling through that narrow cliff face and hole. I want to advance slightly, but I do want to try and keep some gaps with my infantry if we need to pivot. We'll get these gladiators swinging in on the right as well. They've got some really nice attack stats. Not the best armoured, but they should be alright. Okay, we've swung around my cavalry well there. Let's pivot them back and try and get them further to wrap around the enemy line, just to get away from some of those infantry units. We don't want to lose them too much, but we're fighting on the fields of Irinium now, dealing with this revolt, this rebellion, which we more or less have caused ourselves. Alright, they've got their cavalry going against us here. Cute. I was just sort of curious to see how some of these mercenaries look like as well. They are incredibly expensive. So we're not going to be able to hold on for them for too long. If we tactically need a unit that we don't have, maybe archers, I might expend. I might suffer the expense. But we just needed some quick units to swell our ranks, because I don't know, without these mercenaries, we would have been able to get over the line here in this one. As hopefully this is the last rebellion we have to deal with. Doesn't matter if we don't either though. We can fire them up. Alright, let's get stuck into them. Although it's an infantry unit, it seems to be fractured and light armoured enough that our mercenary Italian cavalry is carving on up and having an absolute field day. Good stuff, fellas. Reform there. But so far, I'm quite happy where we're going in this campaign. Thanks to you guys' support, of course. but actually on the campaign itself, we're progressing nicely. We're slowly but surely laying one brick at a time, putting in the hard yards, putting in the hard work to eventually see ourselves at the end, well, sort of to the mid to the late game of having a strong and formidable Roman Empire, as we're still very much in the early days of the Republic. Armies-wise, could be a little bit better when I get those Principes in. Construction-wise as well, maybe try and build up my settlements. I'm just trying to like analyze on the fly here and just sort of reflect what I want to try and do. I would like to grow the family tree. Political-wise, we're not doing too bad, I think. We just want to try and secure and grow Lucius Libo's family tree, because I want to get a bunch of Julii in. I want to have a bunch of storylines with generals and how they came and saw and conquered. I think that would be quite fun. What else? But apart from that, I think we're doing well. Want to get to a point as well we can have multiple wars on multiple fronts. But I'm just sort of chilling. I'm just sort of like, I'm not going down the ahistorical path of, okay, deal with Carthage, deal with Epirus, go to Cisalpine Gaul, then Gaul. Like, if we get drawn to Germany, I'll do that. Like, I'm sort of just keen to even do something like that, just something different. I want to see where this sandbox experience takes us. But it's interesting that I remember in the Roman campaign dealt with so many slave revolts this early on. It's because we're conquering and bringing in people. That's where this huge rebellious population is coming from. It's because we're conquering so many people so early. But I do want to try and take an approach like we did with Patavium. We used the Del Marte as a casus belli. That was quite fun if you watch that. Basically, use them to attack and push into Patavium. I might have to do the same if we want to push into Mediolanium and... what is it? Genoa in this? Liguria? I can't remember what they're called. Unfortunately, they ran back there, which is annoying. We didn't actually destroy the full army. I probably should have continued to skip because now we've wasted a turn running down a second time. It's time to move Legion 2 back to Rome, back to Italy from Corsica, because we don't need it there. Oh, maybe they're better off going to Irinium. Maybe Arretium. Navy, swing you back to Neapolis. Now, I had it on a different one. Maybe we'll go back to Bread and Games. Will be better for us. Anyway, let's end the turn and continue. We've got another slave uprising. Oh my god. Okay. Now it's getting annoying. a full stack just spawned out of nowhere. Oh, and they've attacked me as well. Oh shit. Oh shit indeed. And silver chevron again. Wow. Spurred on to the loss of that first rebellion army. Another one's come on in. Alright, we're definitely going to need this legion now. Now it's growing. But it's not like we're not being rewarded for it either. We're upgrading our own units with the occasional sack as well. Yeah, maybe you need more traders and more infrastructure to actually sell the slaves on through. Alright, let's disembark in Rome with Libo. We might even force march it. Maybe to Irinium. While Scipio can sit at Arretium with the mercenary army. Yep. We are hemorrhaging a little bit of cash. Maybe, actually, might even move you back to Alalia. We don't need you there. I thought there was a chance that the army could swing there, but no. Oh god, another one. This one was at Patavium. And they're gonna take it. Oh no! It's a barbarian rebellion, matter of fact. That they've charged on in like a bull in a china shop and have smashed all up the glassware housed in the local Patavium stall. Market stall and marketplace, I guess. Okay, so Irinium has fallen. Alright. Rampant piracy. I always go hunted. But unfortunately, because we don't have the funds, we're going to have to ignore it. So now we've got a piracy problem. Brilliant. Okay, let's move towards Iridium. We might even go with a two-pronged attack if we're lucky. Can you get in range? Yeah, that's going to bring that in. And it's actually not going to bring in the garrison as well. Oh, wow. It's not going to bring in the garrison, but it nearly did. Well, it's an ambush. Let's play this one. I was nearly tempted to auto-resolve, because we already played a couple against the rebels, but this is a barbarian rebel army that's moved from Batavium. So we'll play this one. Our first ambush of the series. In the thick forests of Iridium, the barbarians lurk and skulk. Okay, so how do we want to do this? We've got some Principes here as well, which is good. So I'll grab all my infantry, then I'll divide them. Move you here. Perfect. Move you here. And what we're going to do, because we're going to have to give out so many attack orders in such a quick amount of time, I'm going to put the battle on slow-mo. Unfortunately, it's pouring down with rain, so flammable skirmishes just aren't viable. So we've got things on slow, and we'll just quickly try and give out those attack orders. Charge on in, throw your peltas vicious and hard, lads. And we might be able to get a really good victory against these rebels if we can. We've got them in a perfect kill zone. We've got them quite literally in a dodgeball gauntlet. Like back in the day I used to play at school. Oh my god, it's an absolute slaughter there. As the Hastati have ambushed the barbarians brilliantly. We've intercepted them on the road. It's a nice, rainy, drowsy and drizzly sort of day. And the barbarians have been caught unawares. The barbarian revoltists, that is. A little bit of miscommunication between the two rebel sides that are essentially, for all intents and purposes, against the Romans, against us in this one. But we're doing well. We might have cut off their command structure. And now we're swinging on in, ladies and gentlemen. We might not even need that reinforcing army. Because by the look of it, the first initial legion that attacked seems to just be mopping everyone up. There we go. Perfect. We're doing so well. I might speed things up and let the battle play out, because we don't want to have what happened last time and just have multiple armies sprawled and splayed out around the campaign map, because we just don't have that little extra movement to go and run them down. Which is slightly annoying, but so be it.
Our hidden units have been discovered. 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 The enemy general is dead.
Alright, the enemy general's gone. That should do it. Decisive victory. Only lost 400 or so. That's pretty good. We did a lot better against these guys than the Italian rebels. The revoltists put up more of a fight than the Etruscans. Maybe, maybe not. They were a little bit hard done by, getting destroyed in the water. Absolute slaughter. Man, what a naval battle. Alright, Let's get rid of them. We don't want to enslave them again. Yeah, so there's 3 armies we have to deal with here, which is kind of annoying. They're going to be able to deal with probably 2 of them guaranteed. There we go.
Some men are born to lead. Others are destined to kneel before their masters.
Q. Cool beans. Cool beans. The uprising has been crushed. Right, so Legion 1 and 2 have met up. Italica. Yeah, why does Scipio have Legion 1? While Libo, the faction leader, has Legion 2. I don't even know. Maybe there was more wars in the south? I don't know. I can rename them, of course. Maybe I should. Maybe I should rename the Legion names as well. To the conquered territory. Alright, we need to repair that as well. But it's nearly sometimes not worth in Rome 2 repairing straight up, because eventually over time I believe that they do naturally repair themselves. I can't remember the conditions for that. I think it's just like times. There's like an RNG on it. Okay, got some stats for the legions that we can go for. What are we looking at? What are we looking at, baby? Traditions. Ooh, force march. That's always good. Just getting more movement. Just ending the turn. Are we going to get any jump scares? Well, Del Marte, military access. Sure, for a little bit of cash money. Alright, I'm happy to get more relations with them. Oh, they actually moved into my land slightly. In my territorial waters. Oh, the slaves have actually pushed to Medaland. Or Medialadium. Oh, they're actually a little bit destroyed, though. Oh, they might have... Oh, no, they took it. Oh, wow, that's huge. I feel bad for the Incerberus tribe, because now we can use that as a casus belli. These criminals committed acts of treachery and crimes in our lands. The Romans have to send after them. Oh, we might just go and help liberate the brave people of Medialadium. Oh, that's funny. Well, we'll try and get rid of that other army. And I guess we'll deal with that in the next episode. Yeah, I think I should maybe go over there. Oh, they took Genoa. Oh, that's why they took it so easily and the army's gone. Oh, that's super interesting. Anyway, fellas, thank you very much for watching episode 2. Stay tuned for episode 3. Coming out soon. There'll be an upload tomorrow to some extent. But thanks, guys. Got to play the outro now. And I'll see you in more episodes to come. We've got more of this Roman Republic and future Roman Empire campaign. Take care. Unfortunately, it's time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Check out my social media links in the description below if you want to stay connected with me. I also want to say thank you to this month's patrons and channel members: Victor K, Sebastian C, Jordan K, Caesar L, Brian S, Tao, Lion B, Kyle P, Tom C, and White P. My name has been Simpzy. Much love from Australia. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.